What is up, team? I am very excited for you to see this video. I just had my client Cian over. We did an in-person session. Cian scaled from 6k per month to over 12k per month. He's hit back-to-back PB months, I think 5 months in a row, and he's got to 12k a month pretty much with no expenses. So no team, no ads, pretty much very, very low spend. And we talked through the next steps to get his business to plus 25k months. So strap in, enjoy, take some learnings from it. Any comments, drop them down below, and looking forward to getting you to watch it. Okay, Cian, so biggest things to focus on I think we'll start with leads and we'll go from there. So obviously I know delivery with hiring the coach and stuff is something we need to speak about, but let's just start on the leads side of things. So I suppose in terms of what you've done very, very well has been organic in terms of like really maximizing the pipeline there over the last few months. And now you're noticing a bit of a slowdown. And basically you just think you kind of max out the organic pipeline.
I don't know. I think because a lot of the people who I signed up would have been inbound DMs. There was a period there where like literally I was getting like a crazy amount of inbound DMs. And I think that was from obviously just like the results side of things.
Yeah.
But for me, what I feel like I struggle with is like starting that conversation and then like progressing that conversation into something that's going to lead to speaking about coaching, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. So almost because you're so used to speaking to people from inbound DMs, you're not really used to speaking to someone who's semi-interested.
No, it's just someone who wants to pay
me. Basically. So when the inbound DMs were high, was there anything specific that you had like coming into that, or was it just like people being shared?
Yeah, just people shared. So like, for example, like Rachel, she lost like 5 stone in the space of like 5 months, and then she did like 5k, 10k half marathons. So like, but there was lots off the back of her, but then it was all just basically off the back of like seeing my client results.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Cool.
And like, I haven't been as progressive with client results now because I was in pushing my client results now because I want to try and get more followers in, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I was even, okay, so basically where we're at, we've essentially doubled the business in terms of revenue.
Yeah.
And now you're at a point where a lot of that focus has come from inbound DMs. And now it's like, okay, for us to kind of continue scaling, we need to work on essentially like having a different funnel in place.
Yeah.
So I know we've spoken briefly with like new follower ads, and I know you've tested a few, but I don't think you
probably haven't tested enough.
I don't think you've tested enough, and I don't think it's been as we need to do this because you've been hitting PB months after PB months.
Yeah.
So it's been one of those things that would be good for us to add in, but we haven't. There's been more important things for us to focus on.
100%. It wasn't a priority there and then. Like, it wasn't a thing I needed sorted there and then.
So you were saying to me that profile views were low.
Go on. Profile. So it cost me between 7 and 9 cents per profile visit.
Okay.
But it's like $4.50 per follower.
Yeah. And then, do you know how many of them would have been like qualified followers? Roughly, what did you say?
I don't know.
Okay. So to be fair, like I would say 4 to 5 if it was for a qualified follower would actually be good. So usually what I would say, you're in a nice bracket here, like 7 to 9 cents. I would usually say like €1 to €2 per follow.
Yeah.
And then for a qualified follow, like 4 to 5 actually isn't bad.
Okay.
And like if we do the maths on this, so let's say if you were doing €20 per day.
Yeah.
Just say for instance, €20 per day.
Yeah.
And we were just saying getting €1 follow, just keep it easy.
Yeah.
So we're getting 20 follows a day.
Yeah.
So roughly like 600 per month. 600 per month. So if we were hoping that 30% of those people would reply, that's roughly 200, if not exactly. And then if 5 to 10% of them would actually book in for a call, 200 convos.
10 to 20.
Yeah, so we'll do 5% to be conservative. So 5% per call. That is 10, isn't it? 10 calls booked. And let's just say we could close 5.
Yeah. But my close percentage is like 82%. So I'm
yeah,
not many people coming in about top. Yeah,
exactly, because your closing percentage, one of the reasons it's as high as
knows me so.
yeah, basically referrals organic. So I'll just be conservative and put it at like 50% close rate, and then we'd have 5 sign-ups. So if you're averaging, like even we'll just say kind of cash collected over the initial 6 months, so not even lifetime value, roughly about like €6,000 you would make from
600.
yeah, there's that, yeah, 600 spend, yeah, exactly. So it'd be 10. So I think these are the numbers you can be, so that's even showing you where like, even if it is a bit more expensive for a follow, what it can actually lead to is really, really good.
Yeah.
So now we can kind of see how the numbers can work. It's more so what do you actually need to be doing?
What do I need to do to get that?
Basically.
And I think that's the issue that I have, because like I'm the type of person, if I don't understand something, like I can't do it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I don't understand that.
Do you think, okay, so with understanding, is it like more like mentally, make it make sense to me in terms of just like what I need to think about, or more so like the actual setup?
So it's, no, I know how to do the setup, but I think it's like when I'm, for example, like what would be the difference of me running, like making content for an ad compared to making content to make content, if that makes sense.
Yes, very good question. Actually interesting, I was just having a conversation with Hayden about this. One of clients, Laurie, will actually share with you her Instagram story that she's been doing. So she's been basically running a story ad that we've had, and she has it as like a selfie of herself, and it's performing like really, really well. And I think it's performing so well because it doesn't look like an ad. So I would actually try to get you think less of like, how can this be done as an ad, and more so, what are we kind of like looking to get from it? Are we looking to create curiosity, etc., and then using that and amplifying it? Because when we're in a place we are now, like a trust recession, if people see an ad, they like automatically get off it. Or if we do frame something as an ad, how can it be done in a way that the CTA that we have is quite like really easy, chilled out, low barrier to entry. So on that, what I'm noticing is working really, really well now is story ads. So let me just get up. Can you, actually good question, can you talk me through some of the ads that you've tried? I know obviously on your page you have a lot of like protein recipes, stuff like that.
Some stuff like that, yeah.
And what else have you kind of...
So I've stopped really going like down, it's more of a thing of like, at the moment I'm doing more like story driven stuff. So rather than just being like, this is another protein recipe. Like I'm not, you said to me before, and it's like, you're not a recipe person. But I can talk about what I eat because like everyone eats food. But and because I'm dying at the minute, obviously it resonates with the people who I'm speaking to. So like most of my content is like story driven content in terms of like what I do. And then what I'm currently doing. And then like what I've learned from past experiences, obviously results, and then like full days of eating, stuff like that. And because people like to watch them. And then I do have some like face to camera stuff, but it could just be like general tips, but they're more as like filler content because they always really bad for me. So it's just like, if I haven't had time, I'll just stick that in. That makes sense.
Okay, so cost per profile visit is low. Cost per follow, even though when I kind of worked out the numbers, we can see how it can still work out really profitable. That being said, if you're kind of noticing there's a bit of a mismatch between you're running them, you're not really seeing maybe like the people reply or like good quality coming through. So I know we've gone through like profile optimization, which I think your profile is actually in quite a good spot. So more so for me, I'm thinking, do we nearly need to be more results driven in the ads that we're running? Because that's what your page is made up of. So do you know, if we have like because you have like, when you click on your page, there's so much social proof, and it's like, are people landing on your page? And because that's not the thing that got them onto your page, is it like, even though they'd be impressed by the results, are they not very aligned with it? So even think about this for you and me. If I put up an ad and I was talking about, you know, how to get your clients into elite shape for a photo shoot, and as like a business coach, I like help my coaches become better coaches.
Yeah.
And then you clicked on my page and it was just all like revenue figures.
Yeah.
There's a good chance. Yeah, there's a good chance you're like, hey, that's impressive, but like
probably still drop your follow because it's money, but
fair. Fair. But
yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. So
I can get that.
if we tried story ads where we can actually do some video ads as well for main page, but if we do story ads and we're actually going to like speak about results, so maybe sharing like a graph of like a client weight loss, we can try. So with ads manager and running transformations, like they usually say that you can't do it, but we can try get it through.
Okay.
So what we can do is we can try also run like a client transformation. If we do it like quite small in the story, we should be able to get through. And the change that you're going to make, we'll do it where you have a bit of text going through your unique mechanism. So if we're going through like your unique mechanism, quick touch on, essentially it's just like you sell a service, you sell coaching. How are we going to make this different to other people? That's going to be through your unique mechanism. So if someone clicks on your story, they don't know you, they see a client result, they see you kind of talking through your unique mechanism, and then at the bottom we'll just have like a follow to learn more.
Yeah,
and that's essentially going to be the CTA. Go on.
I did have I did like a story, like a video reaction to a client's transformation before, and it got like organically like 15k views.
Yeah,
I think it loads of followers off back of it, but then I tried to boost it as a post, but I had music on it, so it wouldn't let me actually boost it. So, but like I posted one of, like Sarah over the weekend, on Saturday, and it did decent as well. Like it got like
I think I saw that one.
3-4k views as well. Like, and like that's the thing with me, it's weird because like if I go through all my analytics, every single one of my top performing posts are all like results, which is usually complete opposite for most people.
Well, to be fair, like I even built my fitness business in like a similar way. Like I was really known just for results. Like we never did.
I get results with normal people though.
But and even for like my business coaching now, like my page as well, has like a lot of results.
That's where I seen you.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think like playing to that strength, because I think there's a lot of coaches who don't have results. So do you know what? I think there's, as we said, like there is a mix between like storytelling and sharing your own story. Obviously having value there, but like I would lean into the results style. So what we'll do, we'll get a story as set up. So essentially, what we want to be doing here, we only want placement for stories. Do you know how to do that? Ads manager.
Yes.
Click that as placement.
I usually just have it on Instagram only, and then all the Instagram, so stories and feed. So just basically turn off feed.
Basically. Turn off feed. Sometimes it might have like reels clicked as well. So we just want to turn off that as well.
I've also today actually just changed because I got the origin story done. So I changed like the bio, and then it's actually like linking a bio now.
Okay.
Sick. So that could help with like new people landing on my profile to watch it. Like it's in like 4 minutes.
Cool. Let me even just go onto your page there. I know you only just got it set up today.
But to be fair, it's only posted like an hour, and there was only like 4 or 5 views on that, and I didn't post.
Have you put on your story yet?
I only posted my story just before I come up to you.
Okay, cool. So a few things. One, I would change the link for, have you seen my one? It's like
No.
So it's basically, you can kind of like customize it. It's literally like, was it like $5 for the year or something crazy? So it's worth doing. It just looks.
It looks neat.
Yeah, it looks nicer. And you'll see here what I've done, kind of going back to the unique mechanism.
Yeah.
So having a unique mechanism, like I want fitness coaches to come here and be like, hey, there is something different in terms of what I can get here. And I think it's very much the same for you. So I know we've tested that, follow CTA, which I like. And then I would just change the link here so it comes up. And it could be, we could think of a hook in terms of what we want to do off it.
So like the hook I have on the actual YouTube video is like,
get
like I used to hide sweet wrappers under my bed. Now I like coach people to think it's something from like something like that. I was to say so from hiding sweet wrappers to helping over 500 people like good spot.
And let's just open up here. I'm a better subscribe, a better like. Okay, so from hiding wrappers, really like it. So when it comes to utilizing this, a few areas. One, obviously it's on your page, which is great, and we can look at it from that perspective. Two, what I would say to you is assets that we actually send people in the DMs.
That's something I want to speak to as well too, because like I literally, so I used to have like I had like over 600 people on the email list. I literally had an email list for like 2 years.
Yeah.
So when I went to start sending emails again, I was getting like 15 people opening them.
Yeah.
So I literally just deleted it.
Okay. So you deleted the email list?
Sorry?
You deleted the email list?
Yeah, I just got rid of it because like I know I probably still have like most of the most of it was just past clients and stuff like that. But like no one was reading them, so I was like, what's the point in me having this big email list with no one reading it?
Yeah.
Like it's if my deliver like method is a lot lower, surely less people are going to see it. It's going to land in junk more. So
100%.
I need to get the system set up properly to be able to send emails and stuff from it.
Yes.
And then I need to like have some variation of like a funnel or landing page. Maybe I need a call to like, actually set it up.
Okay, so a few things. Yeah. So one, open rate. So one, obviously it's been kind of like a dormant email list. So one thing I would do, we can plug all those emails into the system. I think they're still worth having. But one, I'd just be like super transparent, and I'd be like, hey, like I haven't been emailing for a while. This is what's about to change. This is what you're going to get from it. At the start, I could keep a low email rate, but I would still keep them in at least your weekly email.
Yeah.
Then obviously what we want to be, the biggest thing is going to be subject. So I don't know if you've ever got emailed and someone said like your first name, so they'd be like, Cian.
Yeah.
Is this, obviously I'm not saying to do this one, but just for an example, like Cian is a Sue, and then in your head you're like, is what me?
Yeah.
And you know what makes you want to click? Yeah. So the subject's going to be huge in terms of like getting people to click.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say like that list, obviously it's been inactive, so it's going to be hard to redo it. But one, being transparent with it. Two, looking at the subject line and getting everyone in. Then just in terms of like moving forward for where to look at building it. So when we're doing our like follow funnel essentially, so we're doing so what we're running now, we're running follow to IG page. So it's like an IG page funnel and then into DMs essentially. The way I'll get you to look at it is giving people value in the DMs is beneficial. If you were then trying to like move them to landing page and get their email, it could kind of set you off track. So I would only do it when you feel like the lead isn't interested right now. So for example, if you're speaking to someone and they say, having a bit of back and forth, they're not qualified like right now then it's a good opportunity to be like, okay, this person needs to be nurtured more. I need to build more trust. I know I'm not going to be selling to them in the near future. So can I get their email, get them on my email list and improve?
Yeah, for example.
But if let's say, for example, you just got someone who followed you through and you're like, hey, I want to give them some value straight away, and you try to get them on your email list, there might be a breakdown there that isn't worth it.
Yeah.
So what I would say to you is, before, let's say, getting them booked in for a call, if you send them 2 to 3 assets, that's going to be really, really valuable. Like that could be your origin story, that could be a video of you going through like a client case study, something. And like we spoke about in that document I shared with you, having it done in a way of, one video nurture before they book in, then when someone books in, make them watch something before the call. And again, these are things you haven't really had to. This is the difference between organic and paid.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing that I need to get better at. It's like I literally, for so long, I haven't needed any of it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So now I'm like, there's so much stuff. Like, what's the most important thing? Like, that sort of way.
So essentially what we've done, you're at 12K months and margins are like 100%.
Probably.
But pretty high. So
really high.
And that's what I fucking shouldn't be understated, like how impressive that is from you to be able to do that. I think sometimes people rush into hires, and the one thing I wanted to do when we work together is like, how can we make you a lot of profit?
Yeah.
Like you came to me at a point of like, I just want to make more money. I'm willing to do the work. I want to do the work.
Yeah.
So it wasn't about scaling and bloating out a team of expenses. It was how much can we do ourselves pretty much organically. I know we've had like a tiny amount of ad spend. So we've got here. So if we're looking to double again, so let's say 25k months, we essentially need a different approach. So it's going to be a few hires that we need to look at. So one of them is, let's maybe start on the DMs just because we were speaking about it.
Yeah.
So are you still doing all the outbound or do you have someone in?
So Nick does.
Yeah, he's doing the outbound.
So he does just initial conversations, like an hour and a half Monday to Friday.
Okay, so we have a VA
So it's
in
like
for
3
1.5 hours doing. So when it comes to the DM side of it, then so obviously a VA kind of like $7-8 are in a position to do the replies for you. So he's perfect. He's doing the outbounds and you're having that set. So then it's you from a point of view of, okay, am I putting in when you're doing the DMs?
I know myself. I'm not putting in enough
effort
into it. Like, yeah.
And do you think like that will? Are you like?
I don't know if I can get time to actually do it. Like, if that makes sense. I don't mean it in a bad way.
No,
like, obviously, I understand how important it is to go and do it. But
yeah, not fair though.
For me, it's just like, I know if I start spending way more time on my Instagram DMs, that means that like my client response is going to drop off a lot.
Yeah.
And then it's not meaning that I'm going to lose more clients. What's the point? Do you know that way?
100%. And also, sometimes you just you'll just know if you're not that into it.
I've never been someone who likes to sit in Instagram all day. Like, do you know that sort of way?
And to be fair, I don't think anyone loves their DMs. I think some people are good at it and they're relentless with it. And then I think, I think we'd have been to a point now of, I think you're probably just seeing it in a way of like it's more of a chore and I just need to clear these messages as opposed to having
100%.
good conversations. Okay, so the next person in would be getting a setter to take over the replies essentially for you. So two ways you can do this. One, you can hire an agency, get someone in. So then essentially they don't essentially work for you. You're paying like an agency. They're giving you a member of their team to work inside. Pros and cons for this, depending on what you were looking for. If you were like, I almost, like some people just want someone to work for them, not really manage them too much and just like, that's a great option. Then the other option you have would be hiring someone directly for you and they'll work as part of the business. So obviously when it comes to agency, there's different fees. If you're hiring someone directly for you, I'll tell you how much I pay my setter for my fitness business. So it's 9 to 5, so it's essentially 8 hours a day. And she gets $800 base pay. And then she gets 5% commission of cash collected on the call. So she gets $800 base and then 5% commission of cash collected.
So that doesn't matter then, say if it was a monthly, like it's just cash collected on the first call. And it's not recurring, not
No. So I know some people do it that way. I just said it very simply, like you get what's collected on the call and then, because even just think of like the admin of that, of like, imagine your setter invoicing at the end of like month 3 for the client and you got like a failed payment and then you have to say, oh no, his payment failed or, so I'm like just cash collected on the call. So from their perspective, they just have to understand that not all signups are created equally. Like it's going to be how much the business is benefited. But then at the same time, they'll want more qualified people coming through to ensure they'll get more commission on the call. So I think this is like a fair pay structure. What some people do wrong, 2 things. One, let's say if you just said 800, you're like, fuck it, someone will do it for $800. I don't want to do the commission. What you may have then is, especially if someone working directly for you, they're not going to be hungry they kind of just see it as like, okay, whatever, I'm going to get paid either way. I need to do a good enough standard so Cian doesn't want to get rid of me, which he probably won't because he doesn't want to do them himself. Whereas the other thing that you could do is, okay, instead of 800 and like the 5%, someone might be like, okay, I'm just going to give them like a higher base, a no commission.
Like 10% or something like that.
I know, sorry, more so just like, I'm just going to give them 1,200. Yeah. And then there's like there's no benefit for them for you benefiting in the business.
Yeah.
Sometimes people will say to me like, oh, 5% is a lot, whatever. It's kind of giving part of your business away. The way I see it is, if they end up getting a lot of commission at the end of the month, it means you've made a lot of money as well. So it's always a win-win.
It's a win-win situation.
Yeah, it's a win-win situation. Like anytime I've given my setter a lot of commission, I've always felt good about it because I know I've done well as well. What could go in a negative way is if you give someone a high base pay and there's a bit of resentment there from you if they were booking crap leads or they weren't like doing their work. And then the way the setup was that you're still paying them a lot. So this ensures that it's done in a way where, as you said, they both win.
What do you feel like would be a better place to start? Because obviously if I take somebody on, I have to train them.
Yeah.
Whereas if you work with an agency, obviously they have their ways of going around that. But like, do you think I would learn a lot from an agency initially in terms of the way they go around it? Then you could potentially take on a setter down the line and like finish with the agency, or?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think an easy answer to tell you is just like, just hire someone yourself, have them in your business. But I also think you have to have like it's important to give you real life advice.
Yeah.
And I've worked with a lot of clients and I've seen them hire people themselves. They don't train them properly. They don't look after them.
I know that. Like, I don't spend enough time with EMs, so how am I meant to train someone to?
Yeah, exactly. So I even think a goal for you, because I think it's important as well, like business and life is chapters. So I think long term, if we had a discussion in 5 years, I would hope you have like a team in place and there's all these people working for you in your business. But if we're being realistic about like what's going to get us here closer, I actually think you hiring someone externally coming in, allowing that to free up your time where you're like, hey, I know they're in good hands.
Yeah.
The owner of the agency is going to be training them properly, making sure they're doing a good job for me. During that time, I'm obviously working on the fulfillment, I'm getting a coach in, I'm lowering my own client numbers. Then I could be at a point, and sometime in the future where, okay, now I have more time, I'm doing less of the coaching myself. I want to train someone in myself and do it. Yeah. So I think what we could do incorrectly is we get you to hire someone yourself. You don't put the time and work into them. They're booking all the calls for you, but they're not really booking that many. And you stay around here for ages.
Yeah.
So it's like, what's the best thing on paper? Hire someone for yourself. What's the best thing that's going to get us here quicker? I actually think agency, based on like what I know about you and what I've seen from experience with clients.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Any questions on that with the setter?
No questions at the moment.
Okay, so then obviously the other thing that you're doing is hiring a coach because you're pretty rammed yourself with check-ins and stuff. So any questions in terms of, I think one thing you wrote down was around like the pricing.
So pricing structure, because she's obviously like, she's a current client, so there's a lot of trust, and she's not qualified coach, but she's been dietetics and COVID, so she probably has a better understanding of nutrition than what I do.
Yeah.
But like by the book, if that makes sense. But like, would you just literally have it as like, this is a set price, this is what this is, or because she's now, will the price below for her, and then we'll just naturally over time like increase that to like standard pricing, if that makes sense. Yeah,
you mean for like people coming into your program?
Yeah.
Okay, so I wouldn't actually have it in a way of like, this is your price versus this is your coach's price. What I would think about is it offers you like more flexibility. So what I think is really important for you to know on just generally speaking, like on all calls that you get on, is like the lowest price that you would take for a client to come on board. So let's say right now, if it was just say $250 per month right now, because you're at a place where demand is very high, supply is low, you don't have a lot of people to take on. So like when it comes to working with me, if someone's not willing to pay, I'm like, hey, well, that's that. Yeah. So the good thing, I suppose, in terms of flexibility and like scaling, especially when we look at how much it costs it takes to acquire a customer through ads and stuff, you're going to have a bit more flexibility, because now you're like, okay, this isn't actually going to be my time anymore. I have a coach. So I might change it to, I'm actually happy to accept someone kind of coming in for $200 a month.
Yeah.
Because now I can give them my coaches less of my time. So now you're looking at costs of like, okay, if I pay my coach €50 a month, I'm getting 200 into the business, it's 150 profit. I can put that money into ads, which can get me a higher tier client and so on. So I would look at it a bit differently, and I think you have room to be a bit more flexible, which is great. And so what I would say, I wouldn't actually change your offer on at the start of your call. So I would go in normally with like your 1,200 paid in full. And
someone told me I was too cheap the other day. So.
Really? That's a good sign.
They were like, oh, I thought it was going to be more. I was like, can I go back 10
Yeah,
seconds?
I know. I think a few things. So I think we spoke about this before, but I think that's the beauty of, one, if you're happy with a price point and you're like, look, right now I want to like fill up my coach and still capitalize on the calls as much as possible. Like we spoke about before, that might just be just reducing the commitment you have. So eventually you could be selling, like clients of mine, Amanda and Daniel, like they're doing a 1,500 for 3 months. So right now you're at 1,200. You could just keep testing a lower amount. So 1,200 for 4 months. Okay, closing rate doesn't change. 1,200 for 3 months, closing rate doesn't change. And then you're getting someone in and they're essentially, for their first initial 3 months, they're paying you like 400 a month. And then you might have a back end offer of, it goes to like 250 after that, or 297. So you may say, okay, it's 1,200 paid in full for initial 3 months. But then when you come in as a client, you can move on to 250 monthly.
Yeah.
And then you could do something along the lines of, hey, so like they're 8 weeks into the program, hey, if you want to extend for another 6 months, you actually save €250. So you can pay for 6 months paid in full for 1,250. So over the space of 8 weeks, you could get 1,250 and that. You could have collected like 2,450 from them, and that's a guaranteed in.
Yeah.
So that's the benefit of you like really increasing that initial 3 month commitment. It gives you a lot of flexibility. And the one thing I've noticed, so even with for my mentoring, I've tested like 6 months, I've tested 3 months, 4 months. At the moment, I'm doing quite a high, in comparison to before, quite a high 3 months instead of a bigger 6 months. But what I'm then doing is like a lower monthly. So if it's for like my highest tier program, it might be 7K for initial 3 months, but then it goes on to like a 1,500 a month.
Yeah.
So that's a huge difference in terms of like, that's like 2.2. So it's like a reduction like £700 per month. But then if people are like, okay, I have the 7K to give, so I'm happy to get on board, but I am thinking about it long term, and 1,500 is acceptable. So now for them, they're like, hey, for me to get on board, I need to do the 7K, I'll do the 3 months. But if this was if that monthly wasn't there, and I literally just said, it's 7K for 3 months, if someone was planning to be with me for a year, they'd be like, fucking hell, that's gonna be like really expensive, and they might say no. And it doesn't mean they don't have the 7K, it means I want to coach for a year and this would just be way too expensive. So by me adding in the 1,500 after the 3 months, it allows for people just to say, do you know what I'm saying?
So like what you would do then on the call is like, this is the initial payment, this is 3 months, but then after that, it's going to be
basically
250 a month or whatever.
Yeah, basically. And then as I said, if you wanted to, before they went onto that monthly, so maybe, let's say if it was the 1,200 for 4 months, which works out at 300 a month. I think that's a bit more realistic. And then you said it goes to like a 250 a month. So then, as I said, this person's paid 1,200 for 4 months. So even though in their heads they're going to the 250 a month, if you give them an offer, do 1,250 for 6 months, you save 250. It's €250 cheaper, but from my perspective, you're collecting the amount of money that would take then 5 months to pay you after their 3 months. So it's like, if you could guarantee it before they even finish their initial 4 months, I would definitely take it. So that's just a consideration.
Yeah, I get that.
And
you don't feel like, so obviously like, as I was saying to you the other day, like my average client retention is like 8.5 months, but you don't feel like you selling a 4 month. Because one thing I'd be afraid of is like, obviously I sell 6 months to 6 months. Thing now, and obviously some clients are coming around, it's like they're in month 3, so I'm gonna have to do like re-sign calls or whatever. So like my thought process is like, right, well, if they're coming towards the end of that 6 months, obviously like I pre-plan like their year in advance in coaching, so like they know what they're doing when they're doing it. But do you feel like the likelihood of them finishing after 6 months would be higher than like, coming towards the end of that? So for example, at the end of 4 months, people who I work with really, they're never going to get to where they want to be in 4 months. So, but do you feel like giving them even that opportunity of saying they want to finish do you think that will increase the likelihood of them falling off?
So you're happy with retention when you have a 6-month commitment and you're afraid by doing that?
I mean, they're only coming up to, it's like they're maybe the first upfront that I've taken in years is maybe coming up to like, I think this is our 4th month.
Yeah.
So they'll be coming to 6 months in like 2 months time.
100%. But do you know what? It's interesting, kind of going back to like my examples, it's interesting so what I found is my retention and lifetime value, if I did a 3 or 4 months, was way higher than a 6 months.
Okay.
I felt when I was doing 6 months paid in fulls, it was almost an amount of time where people kind of got it, and the dynamics were a bit different in terms of the business set up, and there wasn't like the community aspect, so it was a bit different. But still speaking, it was, most people were like, do you know, I've done really well, I'm actually like really happy, and I was getting that kind of vibe. If it was 3 or 4 months, the likelihood of them wanting to stay on was a lot higher. So that's something just like worth testing and seeing. But that being said, if you really notice, 6 months works a lot better for me, then it would just be increasing the price.
Yeah.
So you could do, so basically 1,200 for 4 months is like 300 a month.
Yeah.
So similar prices
Like 1,500 for 6.
Are 1,800 for 6 is the same. So you could literally just try. So let's say if you were like, I kind of want to do the 6 months, I would just say start here first. So don't, if you prefer the idea of 6 months, let's just increase the price and see what happens. If you're like, no, close rates kind of has gone to shit there, and then this is going really amazingly well, I would keep it that. And then if you did notice anything in terms of, a lot of my 4-month paid in fulls aren't extending, which I don't think would happen when we have the re-sign process in place. But then we could just look at like changing how we do that.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I didn't actually fully, I kind of answered the question with the coach, but I didn't fully do it. So if you say 1,200 for 4 months and they can't do it, I would ask them like what they have on hand and able to invest. I know we've gone through this before.
Yeah.
So what does someone have that they're able to invest? And then what you want to do is like, well, first you want to clarify, is there anything besides price stopping you from moving forward? They say no. So if we come to an agreement on the price, you're happy to like get started, they say yes. So that's basically like a tie down. Then you want to know cash on hand. So like, okay, so obviously usually the coach program is 1,200 for 4 months. What do you have available to invest? And then based on that number, you decide what you want to do.
Okay.
Because if you said the lowest amount is 200 and someone says 150, then like calls over and say, like, unfortunately it's like 200. But if someone says, a price of like, let's say they have 300 to put down, then it's up to you to say like, okay, is this something I'm gonna like work with and try sort out?
Yeah.
So for example there, with someone saying 300 to you, you might be like, look, what we can do is just set you up on initial 1 month. There's no commitment there. So you just let me know like a few days before if you're not looking to stay on. I'll set up the subscription on 300 a month as an example. If someone says, just to make it probably a bit more applicable, if someone says, I was prepared to pay 500, but literally like that's all I have, like I have no money aside in the future to pay you, I literally have 500, then I would say, okay, so if I'm able to make something work with the 500, is that something you'd be happy to get moving with today? You want to say that, because if you end up going on to an agreement with them, they'll say, I need to think about it. So you want that confirmation from them. They're like, if you can make 500 work, then let's go. So if they say that, I'm like, look, so obviously it's usually 1,200 to get in the program. I'm happy to get you in for 8 weeks, 500. This actually works out €100 cheaper for you, and we can get you set up on the 500. So that would be a way that you could do it based on like what they have cash on hand. And as I said, with having the coach on board, you're happy to be a bit more flexible there.
Yeah. And then obviously coming up to like the end of this month, so like I'm coaching 5 years, so we're going to do like a big launch. Obviously haven't like 100% said what I'm actually going to do. Like what do you think would be like an option to take?
So I'd even use Hannah's recent. So Hannah did one recently, and she had like a record month. I think she did like 36k. So when I've seen it working really, really well with a few clients, I'd just be kind of saying. So she was celebrating 4 years, and we essentially just did 400 off her program, and we advertised that. And the way I got her to do it, instead of saying we have 5 spaces, we said like 48 hours. Okay. So I just felt it created a bit more urgency. I think so many people are used to seeing like 5 spaces looking for 5 people. I was like, okay, what way can we get people to be like, actually be urgent with doing it? So she did 400 off, 48 hours essentially to take action. And that worked incredibly well. What we did as well, which would be huge for you, is she sent in a message to her client group chat saying, for anyone who shares my post and says a few kind words about me, I'm going to be picking out one person and getting a Gymshark gift voucher for like £100 or whatever. Okay. So then all her clients shared the post, got really good like referrals coming through. And that worked incredibly well, because it wasn't, sometimes, when we ask for referrals, it can be challenging, or people might find that, they might know someone interested, but they just feel like, okay, how can I say to this person, you should go to my coach? It can be a bit of an awkward one. So instead of sending things directly, it was just like posting about it. What I think we should do is 500 off coaching, celebrating 5 years. I think when you have someone on a call, then the way we could potentially set it up is maybe we don't have to say this in the marketing, but it could be 500 off your year program. So we could give someone like maybe 200 off your normal program, 100 or something, and maybe 500 off your year program. So that's a way that we can be clever in terms of marketing, but we're actually still being authentic in terms of the offer that we're giving. Yeah. The one thing I wouldn't want to do is pretend we're giving a 500 discount when we're actually not. Yeah. So I would want it to be authentic, but I also think it needs to make sense from a margin perspective. Yeah, that's fair. And if we if we mention it's 500 off the year program in the marketing, there's not going to be it's not. Yeah. To see 500 off, it's like, let me see more. Exactly. So we'll do that with that. Any other? It's quite similar to like, obviously I've seen a lot, like my friends do like 2 months free. It's basically the same thing. Basically. And I just from kind of testing and seeing with clients, I just noticed when it's money off, it does better. People expect to pay. You mentioned it as well, but a couple of them were like, they were getting on calls to people and they were like, I'm just here for the free coaching. Yeah. Well, that's a good point you add there. So some people, when they do a giveaway or whatever with coaching, they'll do like 5 partial offers and 1 completely free. What I like to stay away from the completely free one is if someone says free, that's why they'll do it. Whereas if you almost say like everyone's paying for it, but you're getting a percentage off, like 500 off, that means everyone's inquiring, willing to pay for... They're willing to pay something. Yeah. Because they're not just seeing the free thing. Yeah. And I would also say so again, this, another important thing here is you're doing your marketing message depending on lead flow. So there's some people where if we run a promo or a program, I might only tell them to do an offer in the DMs. So if I know they're going to get a lot of initial interest, and maybe the biggest thing for them is getting the interest on the calls, I'd be like, let's actually have the offer in the DMs and not do it on the outset. If someone else has low lead flow coming through, and we need to make that offer saying as good as possible on the front end to try to get as many people through. And then there's some people who convert really well on just inbounds and in the DMs. Sometimes I keep the offer for the call and be like, they won't actually know about it till they're on the call, and then just create a bit of urgency on the call. You could have something in. So for you, I think with it being 5 years and stuff, I would just do it in the marketing. And yeah. Would you break up that? Obviously, so Ariane's starting her training next week just because she's a do-gooder. She went away for the summer to build houses in Fiji for underprivileged kids. But she's back next week, and we're starting her training next week. So would you wait and nearly just spend a little bit longer and say, right, anyone that's joining this month, they'll just be my client. But then maybe the end of next month, run another offer, but for her, for her specific, to celebrate her joining, or because then you're sort of getting the back end of people going back to school, as in parents having kids come back. So when do you start training with her? Next week? She's starting next week, which will be mid-August. And then we're launching end of August. It's too tight. It's too tight for that. So I suppose they would be... Well, I have been training her technically already, but it's just been pre-recorded videos.
So she's been just watching them, but she hasn't been doing any homework or setups or anything like that.
Yeah, I think
I'd rather wait. Like I don't.
you'd
mind.
rather, yeah. Yeah, I think if you could, yeah, just in terms of capacity, or sorry, in terms of like having her kind of ready to go, just in terms of timing, yeah, it probably would be you, and then she'd probably be ready from like the start of September, like kind of like maybe the first week.
Like mid September maybe.
Yeah, first to mid September, and then end of September, you would do an offer around.
Date it.
Yeah, for for her coming on board.
Yeah.
Kind of celebrate her coming on board. So yeah, and to be fair, I think I would nearly actually take the same angle again. Because it's almost like, be like, I would do it in a way of like, we did a huge offer for 5 years last month.
It went so well.
It went so well, but a lot of people missed the 48-hour window. I was very strict on this and said like I wouldn't open it outside of that. But we just hired a new coach to celebrate that. I'm actually opening up for 48 hours again. So I'd actually just rinse and repeat. Obviously, we might learn a few things from it that we want to change. But overall, I think I'd just rinse and repeat the same offer, just with a different. It's always having like a reason why. On the front of it. Any questions around training her? Are you
training her?
We're pretty set.
No, because you sent me over the stuff for training her.
Yeah,
and stuff,
so we're pretty set.
Straightforward on that. Yeah. And like she signed the contract and all that stuff as well too. So she's happy enough with everything.
Cool.
So yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Okay. So to recap. So actually, what Gemma is going to do some more specific things with you around DMs, and just show you a bit there. But just to recap, okay, so we've gone to, as I said, double the business, getting to 12k, and then essentially the next steps for you to follow to get to 25k, we need to improve your DM game. Obviously, I think in the short term,
DMs is the big one.
I
know if I actually reply to people, I would make look funny.
It's funny because one of the questions Gemma said to me earlier was like, okay, with his DMs, is he doing it in a way of just replying?
I'm just replying to people.
Yeah. But that's good that we can kind of see. So one, I think early signs is you're training and then getting a setter in. Obviously, we have a coach coming on board, so we're just training them in, and then ads is the third one, and then around that we kind of mentioned around like the pricing and increasing LTV through that.
Yeah.
Anything quickly on like they're going to be the main ones. The other thing I suppose is with LTVs like retention. As well. I know we're pretty set on that, but was there any one or two questions you had?
So the retention side of things, like I always think like you can probably always get better. Like if someone leaves, there's a reason why they left.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of way. But like probably a lot of the time it is some variation of the coaching process. Like last month I had like my average drop off per month is like 2 or 3 clients, whereas last month it was a lot more.
Yeah.
And it was really a mix of everything. But I got them to fill that form and stuff in, and some of them was just like finances, like that sort of way.
Yeah.
Some of them was like three. I had 3 clients who were lived with me for like 3.5 years finish.
Yeah.
It's like they're obviously like
it wasn't bad.
To a natural end, like
100%.
Yeah. But what do you feel like? So probably a big thing actually for me is like the community side of things. I find it really hard to get people to actually like speak and have like some calls, no one comes. Like when I do like events, like
events are good.
They're good because people always come to them and like even off the back of the photo shoot, like I had some girls bring friends with them to the photo shoot last time. Now they're all clients. So like that's obviously a good thing. But I suppose how do you build a better community?
Do you have any? You have a group chat. Yeah.
I have the lads and the girls separate because like nobody speaks when they're together. But the lads just talk about football and the girls just send recipes to each other.
But is it quite active?
No,
not really. Okay, so what I would do, I would set in both of them like community captains.
Okay.
So get on to like 2 or 3, maybe 2 guys, 2 girls if they're in separate group chats. So I actually don't think it's a bad idea. And you almost want to give 2 captains, and it's almost like get them to see that they're like an important part of the brand, and that you think like their energy is great, their values are great, and that you'd love them like speaking a bit more in there and giving them something specific around that. Because what you'll find is when you're doing a lot of talking, people just see it as like, hey,
noise.
yeah, it's like the business owner like writing in the chat. But when it's clients and they're promoting things, that's going to get everyone else opening up more. So that's something that's hugely beneficial for you to do. And then I think I notice prompts as well. So like asking specific questions. So it might even, like it's going to be you doing a few as well, but getting them to do some like prompts, you doing some prompts, asking specific questions, going in. Could even be testing, trialing the calls again. Like once you get the activity going here. But again, I think another really good point is like, do people actually want it and do people need it?
Yeah, like I found like everyone was just like they were coming. So, like some people were coming to the calls, but like my thought process behind it is like, you really don't need a call because you just ask me.
Yeah, yeah,
that sort of way.
100%. I suppose where it potentially becomes more applicable is in the future. If you do want to make it more scalable, you want to do less one-to-one, they want to hear from you. And that's when calls in like the group settings become more important. But like, I would just do something for like to say, and that's something I've even been learning, like building the community. Sometimes something can sound good on paper, but if people don't really want it, if there's not demand there. But again, this is kind of feedback I would get from clients, like ask.
Because I really have like another girl who she actually applied to like, she's a current client, but she like applied to work within coaching as well. But I went with Ariane instead because she has like better general knowledge of everything. Rachel, the girl that lost like 5 stone. Like she hasn't even trained in the gym yet. She will be a coach, and I was saying to her, I was like, look, like I'm not even looking to take one coach on. Down the line, I'll be looking to take another one on. But like right now, what we need to focus on is like getting you understanding how to train in the gym, so you can actually speak to people about that, if that makes sense. So like, I sort of set it up as in for the future that like if I'm taking somebody else on, I want it to be her. If that makes sense.
So you're kind of getting that buy-in.
So like she could be a good option for like
100%. Definitely.
And then my sister is also. She's just always there.
If we can provide family, we might. I think naturally, just from experience, I think like the female one should be easier to.
The lads is so.
The lads is a tough one. But again, that's what I think females may crave that, and they may go to another coach because they want it. So you creating it's important. Whereas I don't think any guy is going to leave you to go with someone else because of the community. So if we're talking about like retention and what people want, I think probably putting more energy into the female community is going to be a bit more important and not so much the male. And then I think just overall, I think even though I don't like mentioning things on seasons, but I think last month may have been seasonal. As you said, sometimes people are just coming towards the end. I think what's important to understand as well is sometimes you actually outgrow clients. You have been making a lot of progress, and even though you haven't been like necessarily like telling people, but I think energy doesn't lie. I think it's easy to see how like much you're evolving, how much you're progressing. And what I learned when I was fitness coaching, like when I moved, let's say, to Dubai, I lost a lot of clients from my hometown. And I took that personally, and I realized, that's just me outgrowing people who want to be with someone local or whatever. So obviously different contexts, but I think that's important.
100%. I think you get more buy-in from people who don't know you and you like don't live at home anymore, if that makes sense.
100%.
And there was probably a couple of people who like I never get people drop off like the first month. It's like 2 people who just clearly were not the right fit.
And again, these are kind of like more lessons for you as we scale. There's going to be more of that sort of stuff. Like you're not going to be able to kind of screen everyone coming in. There's not going to be as much buy-in there. Sometimes we let the wrong people into our program. Like I still obviously take all my sales calls, but I had a conversation with a friend of mine who doesn't take his calls, and he's like, he's almost like, I'm jealous of you taking the calls because it means you can screen everyone yourself. Because he's like, there's some people who come on board my program and they're a bit of a nightmare. So obviously I know you're still doing all the screening, but it's important for you to know even when you're not in control of your DMs, you're going to start getting on calls with people and you're like, I need to look at this conversation. And there's going to be some people maybe that seem good on paper, like, and just unfortunately don't end up being a good fit. And it's kind of like, as we spoke about last week with like finding out your retention number, it's like removing any of the outliers. Like there'll be someone who says 1 month, cancel their card, ghost. if that's an exception, that's more on them than it is on you. So I wouldn't even waste time on.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Like, I'm the type of person who is like, when someone leaves, I'm like, why'd you leave? Like, I want to know.
Well, no, it's good to know. It's definitely good to know. But like, if it's, I wouldn't like bang your head against the wall. If sometimes it is just the person in question. But I think getting feedback from clients in terms of like, why did you leave? Is there anything we could have done to, I could have done to get you to say? And I think this will become even more important when, your coach is having people leave and stuff, for you to get feedback there, like, okay, like, because you will be like, if they were with me, I don't think they'd have left now. And then that's another thing you have to challenge yourself on, like getting the confidence to still give clients to your coach and improve them. And
I think I need to get better at having like hard conversations.
Yes.
That's something like, I'm just generally quite soft, if that makes sense. Like, so I need to be better at like, I don't need to be a prick, but I just need to be like better at speaking about the hard stuff. If that makes sense.
And do you mean that for clients, or do you mean that more thinking about your coach in the future?
I think just in generally in business, like, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I have no issue having conversations with clients, because I always just pull up what they've said before, and I'm like, you said this, like, are you doing it? And they're like, no, it's okay, well then let's do it. You know, sort of way. Whereas I think just generally in business, it's going to be important that like having like taking people on board that like I can actually that I can actually speak to them in terms of like, I'm the business owner. It's not a thing if you work for me, like I want them to think that we all work together.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if I'm not pulling their weight, like I need to be able to talk about it rather than me just brushing it off and be like, it'll be okay if we change this.
And do you know what's going to help you a lot to do that? It's tracking numbers and stuff, because then you can have conversations based on like logic and numbers rather than on emotion.
Yeah.
So if with what I have shared with you, I'll even get up on the screen now the main kind of KPI tracker.
Yeah.
Let's say if they weren't getting results, loads of people were cancelling, but you didn't have anything in place. You might be like reacting to it and kind of like reacting on emotion. They might take it badly. Whereas if you could have a call and you're like, hey, you're meant to be based on 30 clients, you're meant to only lose 1 client a month. You've lost 5.
Yeah.
We need to talk through that.
Yeah.
So now it's like they can't really get defensive because like the numbers are there. Whereas when you just WhatsApp them and you might react on emotion, someone's left, and that's when it's a bit different. So it's just knowing how to say it and what to say, and then you can kind of have hairy conversations which they just understand as you said, business as opposed to something personal about them.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, cool. All good stuff.
Yeah.
We'll do some DMs with Gemma.
Sweet.
All right, sweet.